Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're jumping into a really slick tool called AutoMSF. All our info comes straight from the official GitHub repository by its creator, Ivan Spiridonov, who you might know as XBZ0N. If you're a security pro, trust me, this script is designed to save you a ton of time, and we're about to break down exactly how it pulls that off. All right, so here's the plan. We'll start with the problem, the daily grind this tool just wipes out for pen testers. Then we'll get to know AutoMSF and see how it works its magic. We'll walk you through getting it up and running, and then, and this is super important, we'll talk about the ethical responsibility that comes with this kind of power. So, let's paint a picture. You're deep into a high-stakes penetration test, or maybe you're up against the clock in a certification exam, something like the OSCP. The pressure is on and every single second counts. Now, if you've ever been in that spot, what's the one thing that always seems to eat up your time? Yeah, it's all those repetitive manual tasks. It's the grind that can really slow you down no matter how skilled you are. You know what I'm talking about, right? Manually typing out those super long msfvenom commands. That's Metasploit's payload generator, of course. Then you have to set up your listeners just right, spin up a web server. It's not just tedious, it's so easy to make a simple typo, especially when you're under pressure. And that is exactly the headache that AutoMSF was built to solve. It takes that whole manual, error-prone process and basically puts it on autopilot. So what is it really? Well, simply put, AutoMSF is a Python script that automates the whole shebang of creating and deploying payloads. Specifically, we're talking about Meterpreter _HTTPS payloads, which are great because they give you a remote shell over an encrypted connection. It's not just a generator, it's the whole workflow in one neat little package. And don't just take my word for it. The creator himself says it perfectly. It's all about automating that complex workflow, saving you that critical time and energy right when you need it the most. This is where you really start to see the magic. It's not just making one payload. It's cranking out multiple formats at the same time. EXE, PowerShell, you name it. It can find your IP address for you, it starts a web server to host the files, and it spits out the exact commands you need to run on the target. All those separate steps, yeah, they're all rolled into one. Okay, let's keep going and see how this all comes together into one seamless process that takes you from zero to a ready-to-go payload in like seconds. The script just chugs through these 6 steps completely on its own. First, it makes sure you have all the tools you need, like Metasploit. Then it gets to the real work, generating the payloads, putting them where they need to go, and then, at the very end, it just hands you the final commands ready for you to copy and paste. And what's really great is how accessible this tool is. I mean, look at this compatibility. Of course, it runs like a dream on Kali Linux, but you can also use it on other Debian systems, Mac OS, or even on Windows if you're using the Windows subsystem for Linux, WSL. Pretty flexible, right? All right, you're probably thinking, this sounds amazing, but how hard is it to get running? Well, you are going to be pleasantly surprised. It is incredibly straightforward. Seriously, it's just 3 little steps. You git clone the repository from GitHub, you cd into the new directory, and then you make the script executable with chmod + x automsf.py. That's it. You're done. Ready to rock. And using it is just as simple. You just run python 3 automsf.py, and you give it 2 things. Your listener IP address, that's your L host, and your listener port, your L port. The script takes it from there and does all the heavy lifting for you. But of course, you can get way more specific if you want to. You've got flags like /interface to tell it which network adapter to use, like your 10.0 interface. You can switch up the payload with -payload, choose just the formats you need, and you can even use -obfuscate to randomize the file names, which is great for dodging basic defenses. But this right here is the real magic. Look at the output. It doesn't just make the files, it literally hands you the ready-to-use commands for PowerShell, for certutil, whatever you need. It even gives you the exact command, msfconsole-r/payload/handler.rc, to start your Metasploit listener perfectly configured. I mean, that is what workflow automation is all about. Okay, we have to pause here for a second and talk about something that is incredibly important. A tool this good, this efficient, it comes with a very, very serious warning. Let's be absolutely crystal clear, and the author says this right on the project's page. This tool is meant for education and for authorized testing. That's it. It was built to help security professionals do their jobs better, not for anything malicious. And this is completely non-negotiable. It means you must have explicit permission before you do any kind of testing on any system. Using tools like this illegally or irresponsibly can have huge consequences. You have to act like a professional and stay within the law.
So when you use it the right way, ethically and legally, AutoMSF is a total game changer. It makes you so much more efficient in authorized security assessments, and it's a fantastic way to learn advanced pen testing techniques.
Think about it. All that time this tool saves you from doing boring, repetitive stuff, that's not just time to finish faster. That's time you can now spend on deeper analysis, on digging around manually, and on finding those really clever, complex vulnerabilities that automated scanners are just going to miss. It makes you a better tester. So, if you found this breakdown of AutoMSF useful, hitting that like and subscribe button is a massive help for us. It lets us keep exploring awesome tools like this one. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next explainer.